Welcome to my channel, The Binge Eating Therapist. I'm Sarah, former binge eater turned psychotherapist. And probably the subject I get the most questions about, maybe after weight loss, is about physical health. Now, understandably, you might feel quite scared about what binge eating is doing to your physical health. Now, this is going to vary from person to person. It could be that you have a longer-term chronic health condition that you feel binge eating is making worse. It could just be that you're feeling physically terrible from day to day, or that you're really frightened that you're going to develop a health condition because of the way that you're eating. It doesn't seem to make sense when you really feel like you want to be healthy. So why do you keep engaging in this behavior? Most of you will know somebody, or you will have heard of somebody who had a health scare and it just completely changed their lifestyle overnight. They did the big overhaul and they changed the way they ate, the way they exercised and all of this, and it seemed like they became a different person and they improved their physical health. There are some people out there who can just change their behavior or behave in certain ways simply because it makes a lot of sense to do so. I call these people the rational behaviorists. So if they have a problem or they want to change something, they think, okay, what do I need to do? And then they do it. And then there's the rest of us who are looking going, how do they seem to do that? And the rational behaviorists get really frustrated with the rest of us. And they're like, it's so straightforward. If you don't want to binge, if this behavior makes you so miserable, why do you keep doing it? I imagine some of you have got family and partners in your life who are like this. But probably if you're watching this video, and certainly for me, we are not rational behaviorists. I call us the complex thinkers and feelers, which means we are much more led by our emotions. So we are more likely to feel emotionally stuck with something, even if rationally we know it's not a big thing. We might do this with procrastination or, even minor jobs in our minds we can just feel completely blocked with. And then when our emotions are in this really motivated place, we might feel like we can take on the world and we're going to make all these changes, not realizing that when our feelings dip, so will our ability to behave that way. So when I did a search on the World Wide Web about how to prioritize health, which is what we're looking at here, they talk a lot about building habits. And all these articles and videos, they seem to be aimed at the rational behaviorists. It's the kind of thing that you would listen to and go, oh, that makes sense. And if there's no emotional resistance, you could just put it into practice. The problem is we've got emotional resistance all over the shop. Those of us who are the complex thinkers and feelers. So any kind of ways that you might want to improve your health, your physical health, does usually come down to building small habits, which presents another challenge for those of us who are all or nothing thinkers. We want the big overhaul. How many times do you say to yourself, from this moment onwards, or from tomorrow, or from Monday, I'm going to do it completely differently. I'm just going to eat like this, I'm going to exercise like this, I'm not going to binge, and this is what my life is going to look like. I've decided I'm going to do it. And we don't. Our emotions get in the way. And they don't even have to be big emotions. We can just feel stuck. So it comes down to this question for the complex thinkers and feelers. How do we get ourselves to do the things we don't feel like doing? That's simply the question. And because it's hard for us to motivate ourselves when we don't feel like doing it, we can either use some kind of external accountability. That can work for a while, or it can be a good way to get something started, or you could start and the accountability could be a reinforcement. But many of us have rebels inside, so we might push back against that at some point. But ideally, we want to become more internally regulated, internally motivated, because that's a safer, more reliable place to be. And in order to do that, we have to shift the way we think and feel first. If we just try to change our behavior without changing the way we're thinking and feeling about it, we will go straight back to square one. We might even go back to -5 just to really beat ourselves up for not achieving what we were telling ourselves we were going to do. It seems like the thing we need to figure out is how to make the desire for health greater than the desire to binge. That's what it seems like, but that's not quite right. The problem is the desire for health is often this ever-moving target, and it's often way off in the future as well. Anything that you do for one day isn't really going to affect your long-term overall health. So the question is not, how do I increase my desire for health and make it higher than my desire to eat the way that I'm eating? The question is, how do I make the desire to look after myself greater than the desire to binge or restrict or shut out the world, or whatever it is that's kind of all around this binging behavior for you? Because fear of ill health is not the same as wanting to look after yourself. And this is what happens when people try to make changes to their health behaviors, is if it's coming from this place of fear because you are frightened of ill health, a couple of things might happen. You might be able to get yourself to change your behavior for a while, but you're going to feel scared, and it's coming from a place of fear. And the minute you feel better, motivation's going to vanish. Or you cling on to it and you're just in a state of tension and fear for your health. Or what happens to a lot of people is they go into like a freeze response, where it's like a hopelessness comes in. I'm not going to be able to change my health. I can't do this. And it's a sort of collapse, and food's there and binging's there. So fear of ill health does not work at increasing our ability to put in place positive health behaviors. So this is the work. The work is figuring out how to accept yourself and make peace with yourself as you are. Because that will alleviate some of these emotional blocks and will make it easier to change your behavior. People don't want to accept themselves where they are. They want to be better versions of themselves, and then they will accept themselves. But I just think for so many of us, that doesn't work. Unless you adopt an attitude, even if you don't know how to do it, it's like an attitude and a willingness to figure out how to make peace with yourself as you are. None of my other videos will be any good to you, because if you are determined to stay at war with yourself while trying to implement anything else I say, you will not get anywhere. Oh, kind of got on my soapbox a bit then. I didn't mean to shout at you. It's just that this stuff matters. And okay, people go, well, how do I do this? Okay, well, it starts with willingness. Are you willing to do it? And then one of the reasons why people go to therapy and go over all their childhood stuff is because you will find out that all the things that you don't like about yourself, chances are they didn't start with you. They were reactions to what happened to you. They were reactions to how you have experienced the world and your life circumstances. I love the way Robert Holden talks about it. He talks about this unconditioned self that we have. So much of how we bimble through the world is just our conditioned selves reacting to this, reacting to that. Yet there's a part of us that I believe is beyond that. And chances are, though, you are judging yourself or not liking yourself or feeling shame based on the conditioned version of yourself, not on the reality of who you are. This is my life philosophy anyway. You might have got to this point in the video and think, okay, you've lost me now, Sarah. And that's fine. Like, if there's anything useful that you take away, take what you want and leave the rest. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you on the next video.